Good morning everyone, how are you all doing? I'm back with another Manchester United transfer review. Thanks to everyone who subscribed since the last Lukaku video that I put up. I really appreciate it. If you can keep on spreading the word, that'd be great. I want to try and do maybe a transfer review once or twice a week, or of course if anything happens. Okay, so it's been a few days since I did the Lukaku vid. I think it was Thursday or Friday, when obviously they announced that a fee had been agreed, and quite a lot has happened since then. Obviously we've not had any official club confirmation, but that deal was always going to go through from what I'd seen. I had a few messages from people saying, "Oh, you've confirmed it, and it wasn't a done deal." Well, it was, obviously. So what's happened now is United haven't announced a transfer yet, but obviously Lukaku and Agent Paul Pogba have. So that's all sorted. Lukaku's been interviewed and obviously talking about joining the biggest club in the world, which he is. So well done, lad. And yeah, Wayne Rooney, of course, has gone in the opposite direction to Everton. It's 75 million that we've agreed, plus 15 million in add-ons. If that's the case, I don't think that's a bad price for him in this mad football world that we live in. And it looks now that, you know, 50 million is pretty much like a standard signing for clubs. Certainly when I was you know, growing up watching football, I think Andy Cole was a record for something like 7 million. And Keith Gillespie going the other way for 1. So it's yeah, times have changed, but that's football, and it's going to keep carrying on like that. There's also rumours that United have paid Raiola's agent's fee. I'm not sure if that's part of the deal as well, but people are saying that's the clincher as to why United got their man in the end over Chelsea. Personally, just from bits and bobs I've seen, I have a feeling the deal might have been done, or certainly personal terms might have been done a long time ago. They've just managed to keep it under wraps, which if is the case, that's a pretty good deal, especially for United, you know, who've been pretty ripped off with their transfer dealings over the last few years. I just wanted to touch really quite briefly as well with the Lukaku and obviously Rooney deal going on, what it really means about Wayne Rooney, and reflect on his time a little bit, because I've given a lot of jip over the last couple of seasons. He's obviously deteriorated substantially as a player. He's not the player that he was 4 or 5 years ago, under Fergie, obviously. For someone of his age, you know, you see players like Zlatan who, you know, 34, 35, I can't remember. But, you know, they're 10 times physically more able to do the job of playing a striker. We've got to try and forget all that and think about Wayne Rooney and what he's brought to United over the last, I think, 13 years, which is pretty amazing, really. You know, just thinking of the moments, you know, obviously everyone talks about the overhead kick against City, the volley against Newcastle, goals against AC Milan in the last minute. And, you know, for me, he is a Manchester United legend, but he's not, you know, I wouldn't put him up with those kind of bastions of greatness such as Bobby Charlton, Dennis Law, Georgie Best, Eric Cantona, Ryan Giggs, even Ronaldo to an extent, which is a bit hypocritical because, you know, Ronnie was only with us for a few years and in some ways showed us a lot less loyalty than Rooney has. There's just always been something niggling about Rooney down the years that, you know, obviously the transfer requests, the wages that he's been on at United. I mean, the fact, obviously, you know, part of that is image rights. I think it's $250,000 a week he's been on for the last couple of years at United, and the extra 50 grand to make up to 300 was image rights. But even now, you know, they're saying that obviously we've agreed he's gone off on a free to Everton, but we've had to give him essentially something like a 10 million golden handshake. And quite a few players have this written into their contracts when they leave. If they leave their contract early, they get you know, X amount of money. I just feel that, you know what, you're Wayne Rooney, you have ridiculous amounts of money and commercial value. That commercial value is never going to drop. Everton are going to benefit from that massively, and we've not asked them for a penny. So in that way, we've really helped him put his move through to Everton, you know, smoothly. It wouldn't have looked good in United not to do that, but, you know, it could have been a lot more difficult. I just feel if you were Wayne Rooney, you know, in some ways, the last 2 years, you've already been screwing us over by the fact that you've not, we've been paying far too much for you on a weekly basis. I just feel like if I was, Wayne, I would have said, oh, you know what, let's call it quits. You've helped me get my move through to Everton. But maybe I'm living in a dream world. This is football at the end of the day. So, this is not reality, Gordon. It does leave a gap, I'll go for the tour squad in a moment, but we're left essentially with Martial and Rashford as our main strikers, and obviously with Lukaku coming in. Of course, it looks like we were in for Morata as well. Now, I'm not sure if that was something where we were actively pursuing him and Real Madrid just weren't playing ball. Wouldn't surprise me. I think we played some pretty good football through the year. But he was a bit slow at times, and attacking wise obviously we really needed a bit more fluidity, which Lukaku will give us to an extent, but not as much as Morata would have given us. But Lukaku obviously brings proven goal scoring pedigree in the Premier League, and that is exactly what we need at this present time. So the question, I guess, is who else is going to come in for United this season? So obviously the transfers have been absolutely dominated by the Rooney and Lukaku deals in the last couple of days. I follow a guy called Gianluca Di Marzio, which you probably you may have heard a few bits from before. He's pretty good with his sources. Obviously there's a lot of crap out there. He is saying that Manchester United have agreed terms with Ivan Perisic to come over to United, which I think was reported a couple of days ago. But again, we haven't agreed a fee. Inter want much more money than we're willing to give. Would you pay 50-odd, 60-odd million pounds for, again, a left winger that I really don't rate that highly? I know, considering what do we pay for Mkhitaryan, sort of 30-odd million or something like that. I mean, he's definitely not a better player than Mkhitaryan. The deal with Matic, with Chelsea for Matic, that was being rumoured about, apparently has taken a bit of a nosedive after obviously the whole Lukaku affair. Seemingly United, taking him in from under their noses, or certainly their expectation that they were going to get him. However, Manchester United may have hijacked Chelsea's move for Bakayoko from Monaco, which would be incredible for it to happen again, wouldn't it? Especially in the same transfer window. You wouldn't put it past Jose, would you? He's definitely got the skills in the transfer market, and seems, if he wants to get his man, he seems to get his man, quite frankly. I mean, personally for me, Bakayoko would be a much better player in that defensive midfield role than Nemanja Matic. I don't think Matic is a bad player. I think he's a good, proven player in the Premier League as well. Just not quite that as mobile. And when I look at the guys we've got in midfield, obviously Pogba, Herrera, Carrick's going to be a bit of a bit part player this season. He's definitely still got a lot to offer us, but he's not going to be playing 38 games in the league and obviously Champions League and X, Y, and Z. So we need someone in there, and I think Bakayoko would be a great link up with Pogba. It's shown in the season last year that Pogba was a little bit restrained at times. He didn't quite have the opportunity to influence games in the best way that he can. I thought he played, actually had a good season, but he's a little bit restricted in what he could do. So this would be a great signing for United. If we do pull it off, wow, Chelsea are going to be majorly pissed with us, and I think that'll be the last time we won't be doing any more dealings with them. The other couple of bits in the news were that there's rumours about Eric Dyer. Going off from the Bakayoko deal, they're talking about Eric Dyer for £50 million. Again, I've talked about how mental the transfer market is, but Eric Dyer for 50 million, come on guys, jeez. Yeah, not for me, not my type of player. We've done all right for England, questionable at times, but yeah, he's not worth that much. And if you try and do any dealings with Spurs, you're going to get ripped off, no doubt about it. Regan Poole is going out on loan to Northampton Town, which would be quite good for him. Obviously, I think we signed him last year or the year before from Newport. And obviously needs games like a lot of those younger players do. Couple of actually, I'll go through the tour squad now. Actually, why not? While I've got you on here. So obviously we've got De Gea, Romero, and Joel Pereira in goal that are going on the tour squad. So doesn't mean necessarily that they're that De Gea is going to stay, but you would hope that that might help the matter that he's going to carry on. In defence, we've got Darmian, Fosu-Mensah, Valencia, Bay, Blind, Jones, Lindelof, Rojo, Smalling, Tuanzebe, Mitchell and Shaw. So quite a lot of defenders there. A couple of question marks over those guys. Obviously Rojo's been injured for all this time, and Smalling, but I mean, Rojo's probably just been brought into the squad, I imagine, unless he's been able to recover a lot more quickly from that injury. I imagine he's just part of the squad. Smalling is in there, Smalling and Jones. Obviously there's been big question marks over their future. I did expect one of them to go, especially Smalling, this season. Well, hopefully. Not that I want to be derogatory about our players, but let's be honest, Chris Smalling, he had a pretty terrible season last season. He had a couple of good ones under Van Gaal, but he looks like a car crash every time he plays for me. And obviously when he was under Van Gaal, I always felt that he had that protection from the midfield. We're a little bit more, in defensively I would say we're better. The way that we play is a little bit more exposed for the defence. So yeah, for me, Smalling's got to go this summer. I'd maybe stick with Jones, but again, you know, he's injury prone, but I think there's a little bit more there for me. I just hope those younger lads get a bit more time. I think the tour is really important for them. You know, I'm thinking Tuanzebe, Fosu-Mensah particularly, obviously, as well. I'd love to see him to get a bit more time in midfield, because we've also got Carrick, Fellaini, Herrera, McTominay is in there, Pogba, Lingard, Mata, Mkhitaryan, Andreas Pereira, of course, who's back, and Ashley Young. So quite a few chances for the young players in there. We've got Martial and Rashford up front, which I've already mentioned about being our only out-and-out strikers. So quite a lot of opportunities for the young guys in there. It'd be interesting to see what Mourinho does with that, because you know, for me, I really feel that, you know, those guys really need to be given an opportunity, and if they are, maybe that will influence what we do in the transfer market. With Fosu-Mensah, the guys, he's a ready-made midfielder, especially for that defensive mark. So you just feel if he was given that opportunity, we wouldn't even need to go in the market. Even with Lukaku coming in, I feel it leaves a gap up front. I feel that United could do with another striker. I always think of that classic, you know, I always think of Dwight York, Andy Cole, Sheringham, Solskjaer, those four quality strikers that we had in '99, especially because Martial and Rashford are very interchangeable. You know, they'll be playing out on the wing as well, so you need a little bit extra up front. Whether we could swing it, and obviously there's already rumours that Zlatan is actually staying around, but I've not heard a lot about Zlatan. It's been very quiet. Maybe that is just him saying, right, I'm knuckling down and I'm just recovering here. I don't know, it feels like there will be more of a fanfare about him if he was moving on somewhere else. And I feel that maybe he's going to trick everyone, and back in November, probably recover early knowing him. It wouldn't be a surprise if he just shocked everyone and said, right, signing another contract in November, going to play to the end of the year and see how it goes, and there's your four strikers. And at the moment, we don't really want to be caught into another transfer saga for that position. We've got another couple of positions that we need to sort out, as we've already talked about, defensive midfield, essentially a winger. Mourinho likes to get his work done early in the transfer window. We're already on the tour, so you'd imagine that he'd want everything done by, what we're now with, at the start of July. You'd think at the end of July latest. So let's see how that goes. But that is pretty much it from me. I'm going to do a couple more videos, I imagine, just see how this goes, you know, the old transfer stories. I've got a couple of other things in the pipeline that I want to do as well. But if anything kind of imminent comes up, or there's any kind of breaking news, then if I'm around, I will try and post that and get that out to you as soon as possible. So yeah, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to me. Watching this for the first time, share it. Like, it makes a real difference to me while I'm just starting the channel out. So yeah, please subscribe, like and share, and I will see you next time.